Joe was the head of Jean Chrétien's National Youth Campaign in 1990. It was then that Joe came to the conclusion that he was simply not a liberal. Joe caught wind of a new political force, reform, and he joined the party in 1991. Joe is enthusiastic about the prospects of building a pragmatic, small-c, conservative federal government. Please join me in welcoming Joe Peschisolido.
Margot, thank you very much. Hi, everyone. It's always a pleasure these past 2 years to come up to the podium after Mario speaks. And let me continue on by posing a couple of questions. What's the reason that we're here this afternoon and this weekend? Is this convention more than just a convention? And is something profound happening on the Assembly floor? Let me say why I'm here this weekend. As Mario mentioned, I've been in the political trenches, and I felt very personally the frustrations that many of you have expressed today about the state of conservatism in Canada. And I remain confident and very optimistic about what could be happening here this weekend. This isn't just the mechanical coming together or merger of two faltering political entities, but rather a reorganization of the political landscape, a type of revitalization of hope and trust in our political institutions. I believe that, based on the conversations I've had, that there are so many individuals here who share the same beliefs and vision that we can, this weekend, create a critical mass to create a modern and renewed conservatism. Yet with vote splitting and regionalism, the Liberals remain in power. 38% of the vote results in a Liberal majority government. But there's no leadership there. There's no vision for the 21st century. Because I think you'll agree with me that liberalism just doesn't work. The vast majority of Canadians, vast majority of Canadian families, they live their lives as small-c conservatives. They work hard, they obey the law, they live within their means, and they're compassionate towards their friends and neighbors, and they hope for a better life for themselves and their children. And the problem with liberalism, well, it's liberalism itself. Let's look at Pierre-Elliott Trudeau and Jean Chrétien. They have given us an approach to government of tax and spend financing, excessive regulation and subsidies that has decreased the standard of living for Canada. Now, what we obviously need is a small-c conservative approach to government of substantial tax reduction, less and better government, debt repayment, and economic growth. Now, what we conservatives are advocating will no doubt be controversial with some of the Canadian establishment elites, but we should make no apologies for sticking by our principles, and I don't. So how about some controversial policies, such as official multiculturalism or bilingualism? Let me talk straight about these issues. Official multiculturalism is divisive. It doesn't work. My parents came to this country. They emigrated here to become Canadians. They came here to integrate into Canadian society and share in the Canadian dream, because that's what immigrants do. My father and my mother, they're Canadian. They're not ethnics. And with regards to official bilingualism, it's a Ottawa-imposed, impractical, bureaucratic, coast-to-coast policy that won't work. What obviously makes sense is for the provinces to advance, to preserve and promote the bilingual reality that is Canada. New Brunswick is a case in point. Et c'est la même chose au Québec.
And it's the same thing in Quebec. I don't hear anything anymore. They don't correspond to everyday life, to the vision, to the existence of the Quebecers. This approach, anti-nationalist approach, denies the existence of a Quebec people. However, as usual, Pierre Trudeau is wrong, because the existence of a Quebec people is an historical fact. So our challenge is to create a constitutional plan, modern institutions based on the Canadian Confederation created in 1867, which respects the existence of the Quebec people and the equality of provinces and of citizens. We have to build a political party, door to door, neighborhood to neighborhood, county to county, which will gain centralized liberals and separatists. Because why have separatists and liberals if there's another federalist party defending the traditional interests of Quebec, rejecting legitimately the spending power of the federal government, and pushes a pragmatic decentralization?
Only in government can we implement a pragmatic, principled, small c conservative approach. So let's bring the various elements of conservative thought together: fiscal, social, democratic, and constitutional. With honest discussion and a consensus-building approach, we can merge the various principles into one political party that will speak for all Canadians, a modern, forward-looking, practical small c conservative party. Let me leave you with one final suggestion. With the time remaining in the convention, make the effort, approach someone, talk to someone you would not normally talk to. As Ronald Reagan would say, a 90% friend is not a 10% enemy. So find out what you have in common, because I'm sure you'll find that we share principles, aspirations, and a great commitment to Canada. Thank you.
Thank you again to Mario and Joe.